So, greetings, persons of quality. Welcome to this episode of Anglisten Assemble, here to talk about all sorts of things that happen at the beginning of every semester with, a little focus on our brand new students, although I think students who have been here for a while may or may not have gotten this information at the beginning of their studies. That's right, we're talking about an orientation. Here with me, as always, are Leon. How you doing today?
How are you doing?
Just jump right in whenever
I
you
always
feel
forget
like
to say the same intro every time. And every time I want to speak before you're done. But hi, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I mean, I feel a little stepped on, but it's all right. I'll get over it. And we also have the Kate here with us today. How you doing, the Kate?
Hi. How are you? I'm good.
Kate, I understand, suffering a little bit from the allergies.
Yes.
What allergies are they actually this time of year?
Hazelnut?
Yes.
Oh.
I remembered.
And, I don't know, birch tree?
Oh, okay.
Like, no, not gonna say that. It's getting non-PC.
Okay, that's fair enough. So we got our orientation episode that we did way back in 2020 something with the coronas and the pandemic and the online stuff. And that episode is, at this point, extraordinarily dated, I realized while listening to it again. And I thought it's probably not a bad idea to go back over all of this introduction stuff, like for first semester students coming into British and American Studies. What can they do? Where can they get info? What kind of things can they expect? I mean, I would be surprised first and foremost if they heard this particular podcast. I'll start right there. It's like, how do we get people who need the information to listen to the information? And I think it goes back to that old adage. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
I feel like we need QR codes on the university for people who find this. Like, if you're a new student, just scan this, listen to this, and you know it. Okay.
So you can just throw some QR codes at random places all over the university? And say British and American Studies underneath, and that's it.
Or for new students of British and American Studies, scan this, listen to this, and then do as you're told.
Wow, do as you're told is
harsh. Going to LiLi Einführungstage and How to English Week and stuff.
All right, so yeah, that's pretty much what we want to talk about today. We've got all these different things that happen at the beginning of people's programs. So if you're just joining British and American Studies in this particular semester, no matter which semester it is, summer, winter, 20s, 30s, 40s, I don't know how long people are going to be listening to Spotify. I mean, it may blow up at some point. And so, who knows when this episode reaches your ears. Whenever that is, we've got some info for you.
Did you just throw shade at the speed of my work?
No, he throws speed at the internet.
Okay.
Because well, he meant if Spotify implodes and it's gone, then no one can listen to this anymore.
We have YouTube, we have Apple Podcasts, we have Amazon Music.
I feel like those are gonna die before Spotify.
But as you see, we are in all the places, and so yeah, hopefully this
nice
is reaching
plug.
your ears.
Great plug. Seamless.
That's right. We're in all the places. Like and subscribe and do all the things. No, we don't get money for this. We never have. We never will.
No.
So,
no.
I mean, we don't monetize this anyway.
Can we? Could we?
I mean, I think it's technically possible, but you would need an audience.
or sponsors. And I feel like a lot of the things we talk about would be weird with certain sponsors. I don't know.
Okay, on the topic of sponsors, we have gotten an email from Wharton University of Pennsylvania.
Wait, what? We actually did?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
A couple of days ago.
Okay.
Pennsylvania, okay.
Yeah, the business school, one of the prestigious business schools.
And so prestigious, I've never heard of it. Continue.
The word. Do you read? Have you
just
seen
continue.
Two Broke Girls?
Sorry, I'm not throwing shade at this
Kate,
place.
we're trying to have the No.
It's okay. So two broke girls. One of them went to Wharton. So
okay.
And they're legit apparently. So they have offered us a free analytics of our podcast.
Oh my God, you're telling us we got spammed. Jesus, I thought this was a real thing.
Yes, I was like, great.
No, I went over and I went to Google and I checked them and the email is legit. The website is legit. They're legit.
And afterwards, my account was empty. I don't know.
And you know what they did? They just told me, like, we have mostly white people as our audience.
What a surprise for a podcast in Germany. In English.
And that we have to diversify it to add more, like to have more audience. And we shouldn't just invite the lecturers, but rather someone else.
Wait, they're giving us unsolicited advice as to how we should make our podcast better?
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, let me text Kevin Hart and ask if he's going to be on the show.
All right. Can we get Dave Chappelle on here? I mean, I'm all for it.
I would take Jack Black.
Yes.
That's not diverse, but...
Doesn't matter. He's the spicy white guy.
So, cut. New take.
Oh, it's okay. No, let's continue.
I mean, that's a nice little segue into what we do here, which is nonsense for sure. But I say, today we wanted to talk a little bit about the orientation kinds of events that we have set up for every semester for incoming students, as well as returning students, because we've got a nice mix of both of those things. And the first thing that I wanted to at least draw our attention to and maybe shine the light on a little bit more is the idea of what has been called the Fresher Days or Erste Tage or Einführungstage. There's lots of different names that we have for this particular thing going on just before the semester begins. And Kate, Leon, you folks are part of the organizational team there, right? Or you are the organizational team there?
We actually are the organization team now.
Are we?
Yeah, we are. We're now officially the head organizers of the Einführungstage.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I explain how we got here?
Continue.
Okay. It started off as me being one of the tutors for 5,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, there was switches in the organizational team or the whoever leads this whole thing. They switched a couple of times, and then they contacted me and asked if I want to do it. And I could also bring a +1. I was like, I know a person who's already working at university, who's already good at organizing people, who has already done recruitment. So I asked Kate, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So basically, we took the job no one wanted.
Don't know. It was hard fought over against so many people.
Sure.
Well, whether it's hard fought over or not, I think it's, important work. We need to get people informed as they step into the university life, especially if this is the first time they've ever done that, or if they're the first person in their family to do it. There's definitely some advantages to these kinds of events. So let's get down to it. So you're planning it. What are the things that you folks have planned for the Einführungstage? How does it work? Kate, why don't you give us a little background?
I feel like my head is empty right now, and all I remember writing an incredible amount of emails and just doing things. And
Okay.
sorry right now.
It's okay, I can take over. So the Einführungstag is usually 3 days, which consist of tutorials for the different study programs we have in the LiLi faculty. One of them...
Is it just for LiLi?
It's complete, all for LiLi.
Okay.
Only LiLi subjects. Every faculty does their own thing. We take care of the whole of the LiLi faculty, so not just Anglistic, but linguistic, other languages, DAF, and all of the other subjects are part of this.
Anglistic and other languages.
Yes, and the lesser important ones.
Wow.
No.
No.
Romanistic?
Romanistic.
What is it?
Germanistic.
Yeah, Germanistic, yeah. They're quite big, actually.
And basically, it's 3 days where students learn everything they need to know about how to pick classes, how to study, what is part of a study program, how do I contact a lecturer, how do I address a lecture, maybe even, how do I write an email. Everything that entails studying is part of this. So in the end, after these 3 days, you leave and you have at least a rough estimation of what do I do? How do I do it? How do I pick classes? Where do I go? How do I start being a student? And this is our job, is basically what Kate said with the emails. Finding finding tutors, finding students that want to take this position, wanting to be a tutor, wanting to help new students. Mm-hmm. We pick them, we vet them, we ask which classes they want to do. And then in the end, we have at least 1 to 2 tutors for each subject, plus Lehramt und Fachwissenschaftlich. And then...
Is there a big difference between the teaching programs and the scholarly tracks?
Depending on the subject.
Okay.
You should know this. You're part of this as well.
It's an interview, dude. I'm just asking questions.
Sure. I was like, how does he not know? Yes, there is a difference if you study Lehramt or Volkswissenschaftlich. It also depends on what type of school you want to go into later.
Sure.
So on the first day, we have a greeting, an introduction, usually done by the Studiendekan. Then they get to go to their groups, which is their tutorials, depending on subject, whatever they study, Lehramt, Fachwissenschaftlich, etc.
Just a real quick question. I mean, just so to visualize this, LiLi, so linguistics and literary studies, is huge as far as faculties goes. There's so many different subjects that fit under this overhead. How big are these orientation sessions? How many students are we talking about in these kind of greeting sessions and then individual program sessions?
So for the first introduction, we take one of the biggest lecture halls we have. And depending on summer or winter semester, we completely fill it, plus the stairs.
Yikes. So we're talking about like over 1,000 people, or what are we talking about?
No, the biggest lecture hall?
No, it's...
400? Maybe?
It could be around 400 to 500 people.
400 to 500 people. Okay.
Well, it also depends on how many have enrolled in that year.
Sure.
And after the introduction, which is the same for everyone, we have to split those into their groups. And one group could be, depending on the subject, between 30 to 50 people.
Okay.
If it's that many, we split it again. So it's 25. But smaller subjects might just be 5 to 10 to 20 for the whole newbies.
Yeah, right.
The new cohorts. Right.
But yeah, like depending on the semester, it can be completely full.
Okay.
Which is scary to think about that's what we're organizing, but it's also fun.
Okay.
Like I've been part of this for so long, I know all of this by heart. Now I've learned more about like the organizational side, and there's way more than I thought, but it's a good thing to know and good thing to have at least tried.
Okay, so I come in as a new student. I go to this greeting session, so this welcome session, whatever you want to call it. Then I get broken up into one of my, 5 to 25 people groups that's fitting for the program that I've chosen to study. And where do I go from there?
So your tutor takes you to whatever room they've been given, depending on the size of their group.
Sure.
Then there is a quick introduction. You start warming up a bit, seeing how many people are there, introducing yourself. After, I think, an hour to 2 hours, you have a break. Then we have another group session with all the students, which is an informational or an Infoveranstaltung, which is about different programs and advantages you can visit or have at this university. That can be Fachsprachenzentrum. So you learn that you can improve your language capabilities. You don't, like if you study English, you don't have to take English. You can learn Spanish or French or Japanese or Chinese. And taking those classes can be counted for your BA. So not only can you learn a language you also want to learn, but also get credit points for that. But there's also so many other programs. So we have the esports people that introduce themselves.
Okay.
We have the Hochschulsport. We have the rock people. There's you can go abroad.
I'm sorry, which people?
What is it? Rock Your Life is an organization as well.
The rock people is all I understood. What are the rock people exactly?
Rock Your Life.
No, but what is Rock Your Life? Don't know. Okay, fair enough.
No. There's we have a couple of Rock Your Life is part of a couple of organizations that we sometimes introduce that are trying to build connections between students.
Okay, so it's like social clubs and groups.
Social clubs are social groups. You can do voluntary work. You can also just be part of them. You can get to know people. We also sometimes have the ASTA that introduces themselves, which is also very important for new students to know.
What is the ASTA exactly?
ASTA is basically their legal protectors in case they have any issues. So if you feel like there is a problem between you and university or you and BAföG or whatever it is, ASTA is the people you talk to. Especially if you need BAföG, you talk to ASTA. And they're basically one of the organizations that are there for students if they have a problem.
Okay.
ASTA is more the legal representative side. We also have the Fachschaft. We also have Studentische Studienberatung and a couple of other groups, or academic advisor. So whatever issue or problem you have, there's someone you can talk to. And it's our job to tell you, hey, these are all the organizations you have. So if you have an issue, if after these three to whatever days, there's something you're missing, or there's an issue that occurs later, you know where to go.
Okay. So you basically get a rundown of every place you could possibly turn to for support, or even just socializing and joining groups and volunteering and all that fun stuff.
Basically.
That's cool.
And that already almost concludes the first day. I think the rest of the first is just a university tour where the tutors show new students what they can see,
Okay.
what they can visit, what they will have to know in the next 3 to how many years. So where do you go for this class? Where is this building? Which building is this? What do you do there? Where's
That seems important, just
Yes.
to get the geography of
where
this
do you do exercises?
university. Yeah, okay.
Where's the sports hall? Where's the swimming pool? Where's the SciTech, which is always horrible to find? What is Campus B? Where do you go for stuff?
Where's the X building? Where's the Y
Yes.
building? Sure. There's a lot to this campus, and it's pretty big and it's pretty labyrinthine. There's a lot of
Especially the new part we're in right now is
Sure. Well, it's hard to find your way around, especially, I mean, this is a new part for us even, having been here for a while. They just renovated and finished the renovations on, B and S and a couple of different wings of the university, and it's like, this is new to everybody at this point.
I mean, some of those smaller areas, those are things that students really need to know where it is. Like, they need to know where the bits is in case they have issues with the Wi-Fi. They need to know where the info point is, so they know where to get their student cards or where to update their student card every semester, because they have to do that. They need to know, or like maybe want to know, where can I buy university clothing or merch? Where can I get food? Like the basic stuff of like, what's up? What is so funny? No.
University clothing.
Yes.
University
Really?
merch. We got merch, y'all.
We got merch.
drip.
I mean, we don't, but university has.
All right. So we got all sorts of different stuff that, at least as far as the geography.
We wanted to drop merch. We will drop
No,
merch.
just for us.
Maybe we can include it at the university show.
Right?
All right, so we got all of that for the Einführungstage, the first couple of days, these fresher days. Okay, and then we've got the Kern- und Nebenfachberatungen on the second and third day that also comes into this. So specifically for the programs that you've chosen, your major subject, your minor subject, there's like an hour-long talk with the academic advisor. And that's me for at least British and
Set
American
the
Studies.
expert.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not an expert, but it's like, if I'm coming into British and American Studies as a first semester student, and I need to know what classes do I need this semester, but also looking forward, if I want to plan my next couple of semesters, at least in my head, if nowhere else, where do I get the information? What do I need to do? And I think Kern- und Nebenfachberatungen are there for exactly that.
Yes. So there's certain time slots that are specific for Kern- und Nebenfachberatung. You do the Anglistic side of things. We have one Kern- und Nebenfachberatung for every subject. So whatever your subject in LiLi is, we will tell you where it is and when it is, and you can go there. Disclaimer: if your major subject or one of your subjects is not part of the LiLi faculty, that does not mean that their Kern- und Nebenfachberatung is part of our Einführungstage. Please look up if your subject is not part of LiLi, when it is, where it is, and if you have to visit it, because sometimes it's a week earlier or a week later or during our program. So look it up. If it's during our program and it's your major subject, talk to your tutor and then go there, because it's important to know for your schedule. This is really important. We can't do that for you because we don't know all 100-something subjects we have at our university. We are specialized for our faculty. We can help you with all issues you have in our faculty, but we don't know physics and we don't know law and we don't know PE.
Okay, well, I mean, I get it, and I hear what you're saying. It sounds like this is coming from a place of experience, that
Yes.
people ask these questions quite a bit if they're from another faculty and they have major subjects, even minor subjects in other faculties. I get why a student coming in would say, well, why don't you know these things? Isn't there some kind of central location where I can get this information?
Set there is, which would be the Studienberatung.
Okay.
But knowing that that exists and that you can go there is something you learn during the Einführungstage, which
Nice.
is a
Okay.
bit convoluted, which is why I always say, hey, as soon as possible, look up your subjects and if they have an introductory program, because certain subjects have that before we do.
Okay.
So, and
So by the time they get to you, they might have already missed it.
and that's why I'm so adamant
all right.
about this, because they might come to us like, hey, I'm studying this subject and I really need to know what I have to pick for classes.
Sure.
And then you do the good thing as a tutor and you look up their subject and if they have an introductory class or program, and it has been 2 weeks ago. And it was a very intense thing. And now you're the bringer of bad news, and all you can do is over the next 2 days, figure out their study program for them, look through that study program's like schedule and everything, and help them create a schedule that works. And after you've done that, send them to the Fachschaft of the program again, just to make sure it actually works.
I was going to say, couldn't you just point them directly at the Fachschaft or the student advisors or even the academic advisors?
You can, but not every subject has a Fachschaft that you
Yeah.
can easily find.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Maybe they have an email, maybe they have a room, maybe they have none of that. Maybe it's not actually well included in the website, which is not the Fachschaftswort at all necessarily.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why I say it's not easy, because not all faculties work the same.
Right,
We're
sure.
trying to have this very organized so students can find what they need to find. We're
Okay.
trying to make it as clear as possible and help them whenever we can. But if you have 50 students as a tutor, or let's say 25, if you have 25 students as a tutor and 12 of those have subjects where they don't know what they have to pick, on the last day, your job as a tutor is to do the schedule with them. So for 12 people, you have to figure out a completely new study subject to you and try to pick classes with them, which is really not easy.
I guess it would be interesting to check out the individual EKVV entries, so the course catalog entries for different programs.
That's what I've done throughout the last 5 years.
Well, no, but I was thinking, like, even on that first day when you've got everybody together for the first time, just to have everybody go over their own subjects, what is it they're studying, and then you could, at the end of gathering all that information, say, okay, so if it's not in the LiLi department, then it's a good idea right now to already go to the module handbooks for those subjects and check them out.
Well, I think just from experience, I think module handbooks on the first day is a lot.
Well, no, just so that you have them as a reference guide, not to say that they should read them and learn them.
What I
inside
usually
out.
do is I have a list. So every student that says a subject, I write it down and see how many I have of which subject.
Sure.
And then I also always ask, do you know if there's an organizational day or program or whatever for this subject, and where to find it? And have you been there? And will it still happen? Like, what do you know about this?
Sure.
And if there's a student that knows nothing, I'll mark it down and tell them to wait, and I'll look up with them just to make sure that it's not during our program, that they don't miss it and haven't missed it.
Right.
And if they have missed it, then I know for the next 2 days, I also have to figure out their study subject.
But that's my point. Like, right at that moment, why couldn't it just be, and I can hand you off now to the Fachschaft of that subject or to the
I can
academic
try,
advisor of
but
that
then
subject?
the Fachschaft has to be
Present, willing,
present,
able.
able to do the schedule with them
Sure.
parallel to our program, because I have to do the schedule with them on, or like the tutor has to do the schedule with them on Thursday, like last day. And if it's their main subject, that one goes first. So if they don't know their main subject yet or what they have to pick, this has to be in the schedule first, so we can build English around that, or Anglistic around this main subject.
Sure.
This is why it's important that they know all of this. And this is just part of what I do as a tutor. Not every tutor does this. They don't have to. It's not part of their job. But I feel like I've been a new student once before.
Sure.
I've been in a position where I didn't know what to pick, and I was unorganized, and I hated it, and I felt lost.
Yes.
And I don't want them to feel that way. Like my
absolutely.
first semester was horrible. I had 2 classes in English, which I shouldn't have taken because they were like second or third semester classes. I had no one that took care of me in my other subjects as well. And it was not the fault of the Fachschaft because the Einführungstage I went to were too late because they got the dates too late. So all the classes were already picked, and we didn't have the system we have now with the lovely Sarah Reicher that helps you get into classes you need. It was just like first pick, first serve. So I was just like, okay, I have 2 classes in my main subject and 1 class in my other subjects. Each have 4 classes in a whole semester, meaning I'm already behind a semester. And the classes I have, I barely understand because of the second or third semester classes. And this is horrible. And now it is way better. The Einführungstage are better organized. We have Sarah Reiche. We have better and new FSBs. All of this stuff has been handled and fixed. And this is why I'm like, there's just a couple more issues. And if we fix those, students will have a lovely time in their first semester. And this is what I'm aiming for.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Cool. But, Leon, you said that the main subject is like the major subject is more important and you build your schedule around that.
Usually, yes.
Okay, because I totally disagree. Because I went for my minor subject in the first semester and I took all the courses possible from my minor actually, because I wasn't sure what I'm supposed to do in the English program because it was so complicated actually. And then I was also, it was okay. Like, you don't have to build your life around your major subject. No, it's just
like that's how you usually do it. It also importantly depends on which semester you enroll, summer or winter, because there is subjects that only have certain classes during winter or summer semester.
Sure. British and American studies is like that in certain areas.
Yeah, but others are like certain semesters you can only start in winter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we allow people to start in the summer. That's something that not all subjects do.
And this is also
true.
something you have to know when you make your schedule, because I think it's PE, but I might be wrong. I think PE only starts in the winter with certain classes. So if you start in the summer semester, basically you don't have any classes for this one subject. Mm-hmm. So this is your chance to get ahead in your minor. So you can take a lot of English classes and try to power through those, or literature, or philosophy, or whatever it is, because you can't take your major right now. The other way around, if it's your minor that doesn't have certain classes right now, you can do it the other way around. But usually you want to aim for taking more classes in your major, just because in the end you will have to take more classes in your major in the end. So start with your major, pick the most important classes, the introductory classes, and then look for your minor, and then build the schedule around that. But that's what the tutors are for. That's why we help you with that, because we have done this a lot for ourselves already throughout the years. And if your tutor has been a tutor like me for thousands of years, they have done that for other people as well. I've done more schedules than I can count. So just come to the Einführungstage and we help with that. Even if your major or your minor subject is a roadblock, we can try help you navigate around that.
Kate, what was your experience like? You said already that you took a lot of your minor subject courses in the first semester. Did you go to the Einführungstage as a first semester student or second semester?
I didn't. Like I enrolled quite late because I switched programs from chemistry to English and German as a foreign language. So it was quite late in April already, I think, maybe the first week of the courses. And I think this is where the How to English week already has started. And I think we'll get back to that too, right? And I think I managed to, and it was a Thursday. So already like most of the introductory parts of the How to English week were finished by that time. And this is where I was so scared of my abilities to speak English and be able to actually succeed in this subject. And then I think I picked some of the classes at some point, but I was so lost. And this is where I looked up who is the academic advisor or something, a person who could help me to, I don't know, build a schedule and explain to me things. And this is how I found Brian.
What's this weird old guy?
Enter Brian.
Oh no, I remember Brian had dark hair, right?
Oh my, that was a
Ouch.
couple days ago for sure.
Yeah. And the name was like, it was an American name, and I wasn't sure which language I'm supposed to speak. So I came in and I was like, "Hi." And then he started speaking English with me. It's like, "Are you the right guy? I'm lost. Help me." And he actually helped me. And since that moment, I've been coming every semester with the same phrase, because I didn't have an understanding of my study program up until, I don't know, a couple of years ago, to be honest.
Are you sure you have an idea of your study program even now?
Yes, right now
Okay,
I have,
good.
I have
All right.
right now I have a map, an overview of how things interact with each other and how they work together.
Okay, that's good.
So people, if you don't want to end like Kate in your first semester,
Yes.
Well, but I think at the same time, it even shows you don't have to memorize this stuff. You can come and ask for help every single semester from somebody, whether it's the academic advisor like me or the student advisors. We're all there and we're all paid to help you. I mean, it's just part of the job description.
I just in my first semester already, I joined the Fachschaft. So I just had like people that were like in their 5th, 6th, 10th semester, bachelor, master, whatever. So they knew everything. So I just went there at the end of this, or like beginning of the semester, end of the last semester, and I said, "Hey, can someone help me with my schedule? Can someone just, I know roughly what I have to take, but you know this better." And they were like, "Sure, why not?" And they helped me for the first, I think, 3, 4 semesters.
Okay.
And it worked, and then I knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also how I got to know new students, got to know older students, learned some tricks, and also joined some gremiums, some, not cults. No.
Joking.
Well, let me pause right there and just say you throw the word Fachschaft around, and it's to me it's like, well, but if you've never heard this term, what can I imagine
Is this
behind
a cult?
this organization?
Is this a cult? No, it's not. So I hate the comparison. So people, like some people compare Fachschaft to SV in der Schule, Schülervertretung.
Okay.
It is not the same thing, because you like in school and with the Schülervertretung, people don't really take those seriously. It's just like, yeah, you can go there, you can do some stuff, you might organize this or that, but all the time people are just like, eh. But Fachschaft actually it's like the grown-up version of it, because they actually can do stuff, they can organize stuff, they can represent you. Mm-hmm. So Fachschaft is the one that organizes get-togethers. Fachschaft is the Fachschaft that organizes the Christmas party or the get-to-know the lectures stuff, certain movie nights. Fachschaft is the people you talk to if you have an issue with a lecture, if you have an issue with your schedule and you want to talk to someone really quick and not just like make an appointment with akademische studentische Studienberatung. Fachschaft are the people that get to have a say in certain elements of the like faculty body. When I joined the Fachschaft, I also got elected to be part of the
faculty body. That sounds dirty. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I want to.
Are you talking about like our
that
faculty
was my
senate?
next point.
Or okay.
Because I was also elected to be a member of the FACO, which is the faculty conference.
Were you the only one who applied to
No.
do that?
Wow, shots fired already.
Basically, you get elected, but before you get elected, it's more like, hey, we need people for those positions, and the Fachschaft help with that. And then the election is more like students have to vote you in this.
Like people were like, "Oh, Dalasha, that's a
Yes.
nice name."
But it's like it was 3 people, and the positions were there for 3 people. So, but they still like you
Sure.
needed to have votes, I
Right.
think. And the faculty conference decides on money, on who gets to be a lecturer. They have to vote on certain elements that impact the faculty.
Sure. So
it's
hiring new professors,
yes.
hiring
So
permanent staff.
You have a big table. You have the head of the department, the decan, and then you have their assistants, and then you have lecturers from the certain subjects, and then you have people of the student body that were elected. and you meet, I think, was it once a month or every 2 months, on a regular schedule, and you have to make certain votums and certain decisions, and usually there's like a list of events that are going to happen. And
Okay.
I was there for 2.5 years, 1 year. It was very interesting. It was a lot for being very early in my study program, but it helped me understand how the university works,
Okay.
how the university gets their money,
Yeah.
and also that there's a lot more bureaucracy than you know as a student.
A lot behind the scenes, for sure.
But
So wait, this is just as a part of the Fachschaft, you got to be a part of this FACO for a year or two, you say?
I mean, it's not necessarily the Fachschaft doing it. It's more like I joined the Fachschaft and they also organize the people that get elected for this.
Yeah, sure.
But also the Fachschaft themselves have like certain positions inside of the Fachschaft. Then the Fachschaft for Anglistik is part of a bigger Fachschaft, which is the Dachfachschaft, which is like the big Fachschaft for the faculty.
So
where
for
you have-
LiLi.
Yes, where you have members of all the different subjects sitting together and decide on elements for the whole faculty. So there's a lot more bureaucracy, a lot more positions you can fill if you're interested in stuff like this, and if you want to learn this, and if you want to build connections.
Sure. Network with inside the university and inside your own faculty. That sounds like
And I think networking
thing.
is very, very important at the university.
And it's,
Generally,
it would be really great if you could remember names and faces, right?
yes, it was like,
it would be even better.
as reoccurring listeners have all realized, I am horrible with names and faces. So I think this is what led to me have like an issue with one member of the Fachschaft, which I'm not going to go into, but he didn't like me, and I
Bro,
was,
we don't need to talk
No,
about
no.
your personal Fachschaft drama here.
it's okay.
There's drama.
It was just I didn't know
Bro,
who.
take a hint.
No. I want to say this now. No. I want to just end this and say whatever the issue was. In the end, I went into the room and I didn't know who I had beef with because I didn't remember his face.
Nice.
So there was a room of people and I didn't know who he was.
I'm so angry at, wait, who are, I don't know which one of you. I'm angry at somebody.
I didn't want to leave into the room and say, hello, who's Ryan? Or like, who's Dave? Because I didn't know who he was.
Wow, okay.
Wait, do we have a Ryan or a Dave in the...
We don't. I think
We
he
don't.
was hiding names
Yes.
on purpose.
No, I also don't remember the name.
Wow. I love that. That's a great answer. That actually wraps up the story really nicely. I like it. So who did you have beef with? I forget. All right. So we've kind of danced around a couple of things. Kate, you mentioned earlier the How to English Week that we would circle around back to.
Yeah.
And here we are circling. So the How to English Week is coming up, and so the Einführungstage is normally a week before the semester begins.
Yes.
And that puts the How to English Week in week number 1 of the semester.
It's the week
Question
after.
mark, exclamation mark.
Isn't it amazing? You don't get to study, like actually study in the first week. You get to study in the second, which means, but it doesn't mean that you are not supposed to be there. You should come.
We should rephrase that. In the first week of the semester, you don't have English classes. You have the How to English Week, which we advise you to visit. That doesn't mean that your other subjects don't have classes in
Right.
That's a
that
good
period.
point. The other faculties actually do have classes in that first week, but in British American Studies we have workshops instead that are geared towards, again, orientation and getting information about things that you don't normally get a chance to talk about throughout the semester.
DAF used to do the same,
Oh, yeah?
but people wouldn't come that often, so they skipped this entire thing. But I remember times when I would go somewhere abroad and be like, I don't have to study for another week, and I wouldn't come.
That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah,
But
don't be Kate.
I highly advise you to go to the How to English Week because there's a lot of elements you can either revise or you can learn. There's a lot of workshops about a plethora of... What's up?
Workships, I thought, was a fun
Workshops.
turn of...
Did I say workshops?
Yes.
So you can go into your
It reminds
workshop
me one
and
of
work
those
there.
old Greek or Roman slave movies where they're at the belly of the galley rowing
So
the
you
boat.
chose
Go to the
Odysseus.
workshop.
You choose Hector.
Oh. Sorry.
Nope, you've ruined it.
You over Britished.
I over British.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm really trying to not speak with an accent.
That
my.
one sounds Australian, to be honest.
Also fair.
All right, so while we don't have a workshop about different accents, we do actually have courses about different accents. We have a lot of different workshops. I'm just kind of thumbing through all of the different workshops that are in the works for the upcoming How to English Week.
This is totally the place and time to meet your hosts, by the way.
Yeah, do tell. What are you working on for the How to English Week?
I don't think I am. But last time when I've been there, yes, I've been there, because I was part of the Infoveranstaltung for Basismodul 1.
Right,
So-
the language practice module.
Yeah, the language practice.
Sounds like I need some language practice.
And the workshops.
Exactly. So there's the basis module 1 language practice workshop. So how to BM1.
Exactly.
And what did y'all talk about in that workshop?
Well, I came there to advertise the tutorial, which is the most essential part of the program. You don't get credit points, but you get a lot of information and help from me on how to pass the LPT exam. They're both written and oral.
Right, so the final exam in the Basis 1 module.
Exactly.
And if you want information about that, you can flip back a couple of our episodes. We actually talked to Pat Skorga about
Right.
BM1 and the LPT and all that good stuff.
Seamless plug. Yeah.
That's right.
I also like how you said you can go to the How to English Week to meet your hosts instead of the Einführungstage, which we're organizing
I was gonna
right
say,
as part of.
All three of us are going to be there at the Einführungstage and...
But you can totally come and fangirl over us, no problem.
No,
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody's looking for a little, I don't know.
pep talk.
I was
Ego
going to say
boost.
pedestal to stand on, but all right.
I take pedestal, no problem, people. What the hell?
You can have mine.
You don't have one, but okay.
Wow.
I also don't need one.
Shots fired, y'all.
Right.
It's getting hot up in this podcast room.
It's getting hot in here.
I think we're not going to finish that song for legal reasons.
But if you're interested in the How to English Week, they have a lot more workshops and shops. As part of that is, as an example, you can go to How to BA if you're at some point want to finish your study program, want to know how to write your bachelor's. There's also How to Go Abroad, which is teaching you how to go abroad and go to a different university, study abroad, maybe do your Praxisstudien or similar program part that you have to do for your BA.
Right, we have internships for people who are in the scholarly program, and for those of you who are in the teacher programs, we have workshops about different jobs you can do as a teacher getting the teaching degree, and for those of you who don't, there are different workshops about people who can help you figure out what kind of jobs you can do without the teaching degree.
So you don't become a taxi driver.
Bro, I need to pause and address this issue. When you tell people that you study British and American studies, like, what did they say to you if they are not university folks? Like,
Taxi driver.
exactly. Like when I was growing up, Jesus Christ, I'm so old. But when I would tell people when I was doing my bachelor in English, they're like, "Oh, so you want to work at a hotel desk for the rest of your life?" And it's like, bro, no, this is exactly what I don't want to do. That's why I'm at the university. But that is kind of the stereotype, and
Right.
I am so frustrated by that stereotype, because all of the people I know who graduate with an English degree end up in pretty interesting places, not necessarily the places you would think. Like international marketing, for example, is what one person that I know of does, who also did a bachelor in English.
Like the people from the consulate that we met, they're actually
Right.
they all studied British and American
So-
studies.
Yeah.
And these are people who are working in embassies in, fun foreign countries. That's awesome.
I always explain it like this. British and American studies is a door opener. Like, it leads you into certain areas. It allows you to go into places you usually wouldn't be able to go to, but you still need other qualifications for those positions. What are you laughing about? What did I say?
Cab door. Sorry. You're like door.
Yeah, it's a door opener. It's not a bottle opener. It's not a can opener. It's a door opener.
Yeah, she's talking about the taxi's door.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, quit throwing shade at our subject. Our subject is amazing. Anyway,
I know that's why I'm
but I
saying
mean,
that.
do be prepared for those kinds of questions as a student in this program, but realize that there are good answers beyond taxi drivers. I mean, at any rate, we've got all sorts of different workshops going on.
This is
Pull it together, Leon. We're almost through.
let's just start again.
No, we're not starting again. So yeah, but also, I mean, aside from all of these informational workshops that the How to English Week, we've also got like the social component to it with the mix and mingle room. So there's mixing and mingling going on both for bachelor and for master's students. And for those people who aren't in their first semester, there's so many different things that you can refresh or get to know about. So we have different workshops such as, how to write your BA if you're getting closer to the finishing stages of the bachelor. So for people like Leon, who's...
No, I already mentioned that.
You mentioned the How to BA, but I'm trying to put it into context.
Okay.
So it's not only for first semester students. That's why we do it every semester. So not only do the people coming in get all of their informational needs met and social needs, but at the same time, we've got it for people in the higher semesters as well, right? Anybody want to add to that? Anybody want to take another shot at me for repeating information?
No, never. It's always Leon, right?
Wow. See, coming from like the smoking gun area over here where shots continually get fired, I feel like that's a little more shade than we should be throwing.
I'm ready. Like I have caffeine and I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight Leon.
So we should keep this recording running until I have to go so I can run away from Kate.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as you start running, because she also has to take the chip out of here and save this podcast. Also, one thing I wanted to at least end on for the How to English Week. I mean, we talk about the Einführungstage, we talk about scheduling your first semester and things like that. If you're not happy at the end of this entire process, that is to say, if you don't feel like you've got enough classes or something like that, we end the How to English Week with me doing emergency office hours. So if you feel like you didn't get enough classes, if you feel like there's something that's unclear or that you really need to clarify before going into that first week of actual coursework in British and American Studies, which is week 2 for most other faculties, come and see me on that Friday and we can talk it out. We'll figure out what's going on and we'll steer the workship back to the direction it needs to be going into.
Why am I doing this to myself?
I don't know. But this definitely has become one of our punchier pods that we've recorded so far. I'm enjoying the punchiness.
I feel like I've designed a gun that is just there to shoot me.
That's right. For those of you who don't know, this podcast is actually Leon's brainchild. So it started with his impetus, even though it's gone in completely different directions, it appears, since then.
Oh, I come up with the timeline for the podcast.
Timeline?
Yeah, so for the first season where you both recorded things,
Yeah.
I decided to call it BC, before Kate. Oh, no, BK, before Kate.
I like BC before Kate. It sounds more historical, but okay.
And then, and this is the new time, the second season, the third. This is where I come in.
So I would say it's like
CE,
the
Kate era.
I would say it's
Yes.
like the Star Wars movies where you have episode 4 to 6 that released first, the good ones, the classics, and then you have the newer ones that were released later that no one likes.
Actually, should I show you?
Don't defend those movies now. Don't defend those movies.
All right,
I've
so
not- I haven't seen
instead of talking about Star Wars at this point, I think this is probably the best time for us to cut out. And so,
Yes, I want to end this episode on everyone knowing Kate didn't see those movies.
It's okay.
okay, I mean, fair enough. It's a gap in her education. She may or may not want to fill at some point, and that's her choice. All right, folks. So thank you. Always a pleasure, Kate, and always a privilege, Leon.
I'm drinking.
Sounds like we've all been drinking, if I'm honest. And we will cut out. I'm Brian saying Excelsior until next time on Anglisten. Keep it tight out there. Avoid the workships.
We'll give you a try. If you do well, you can go a long way. But if you fail,
The producers pledge that they will produce
you
only
can go a long way
videos
too.
which will contribute to your musical enjoyment and successfully meet your high-quality standards.
This episode of Anglisten Assemble was privately produced as a joint non-profit informational project of students and staff at the beautiful Bielefeld University. All views and opinions expressed on the show in no way reflect the official views of the university and are solely the perspectives of our hosts and guests. Information provided is true to the best of our knowledge at the time of production, but this is naturally subject to change as some details are time sensitive. Anglisten Assemble is produced and edited by Kate Lee, Leon Dalashel, and Brian Rosema for the private use of our quality audience. If you want to get updates and further info about Anglisten Assemble, check out our Insta at anglisten.assemble. And if you're enjoying what you hear, throw us a 5-star review on Spotify. Those help us spread the word and get more Anglisten to join the assembly. Musical accompaniment today includes the sonic stylings of music from allesgamerfrei.de.